Life is a series of choices and their consequences. Every action we take creates karma. This is the law of cause and effect. It operates at all levels of existence. Good actions lead to positive outcomes. Bad actions create suffering. This is true for ourselves and others. Our thoughts, words, and deeds all carry energy. This energy can be positive, negative, or neutral. When we act with kindness, we generate positive karma. This brings happiness and harmony into our lives. However, when we act out of anger, greed, or delusion, we create negative karma. This leads to suffering and dissatisfaction. Karma is not a punishment, it is simply the natural consequence of our actions. We have the power to choose our thoughts, words, and deeds. With this power comes responsibility for the karma we create. Understanding karma allows us to make wiser choices. We can then create a better future for ourselves and the world. Our actions are like seeds that we plant. Positive actions plant seeds of happiness. Negative actions plant seeds of suffering. We reap what we sow. This is the essence of karma. It shows us the profound interconnectedness of all things. Why do we create negative karma? The answer lies in the nature of the human mind. We are driven by two primary forces, aversion and craving. Aversion is the desire to avoid unpleasant experiences. Craving is the desire for pleasurable experiences. Aversion leads to anger, fear, and hatred. When we encounter something we dislike, we push it away. This creates negative karma. Craving can lead to greed, attachment, and jealousy. We cling to things we find pleasurable. This also creates negative karma. Both aversion and craving stem from a sense of lack or incompleteness. We believe that happiness lies in external objects or experiences. We chase after pleasure and avoid pain. However, true happiness cannot be found in the external world. It can only be found within. When we are driven by aversion and craving, we are trapped in a cycle of suffering. We chase after things that we believe will make us happy. When we get them, the happiness is fleeting. Soon, we are chasing after something else. This cycle never ends until we break free from the grip of aversion and craving. How do we break free from the cycle of karma? The answer lies in cultivating awareness. Awareness is the ability to observe our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. When we are aware, we can see the true nature of our minds. Through awareness, we begin to notice the patterns of aversion and craving. We see how these patterns create suffering in our lives. This understanding is the first step towards liberation. As we become more aware, we can choose to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and compassion. Education plays a crucial role in developing awareness. By studying spiritual teachings, we gain insights into the nature of the mind and the law of karma. We learn practical techniques for cultivating awareness. Self-knowledge is also essential. We need to understand our own unique patterns of aversion and craving. This requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to look within. The more we understand ourselves, the more effectively we can break free from the cycle of karma. Section 4, Ego, the illusion of self. A major obstacle to awareness is the ego. The ego is the false sense of self that we create through our thoughts and beliefs. It is a construct of the mind, not our true nature. The ego is constantly seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and seeking validation from the external world. The ego identifies with our possessions, achievements, and social status. It thrives on comparison and competition. When our ego is threatened, we experience anger, fear, or sadness. We believe that these emotions are who we are. However, these emotions are simply the ego's reaction to perceived threats. The ego is a master of deception. It convinces us that we are separate from others and the world around us. This sense of separation creates fear, anxiety, and conflict. However, the truth is that we are all interconnected. We are all part of one universal consciousness. When we identify with the ego, we create suffering for ourselves and others. We become attached to our own limited perspective. We judge and criticize others. We act out of self-interest, often at the expense of others. To break free from the cycle of karma, we must see through the illusion of the ego. Section 5. The path to true happiness, wisdom and compassion. True happiness and fulfillment come from transcending the ego and living in alignment with our true nature. This requires cultivating wisdom and compassion. Wisdom is the ability to see things as they truly are, without the distortions of the ego. Compassion is the ability to understand and care for the suffering of ourselves and others. When we are wise, we see the interconnectedness of all things. We understand that our actions have consequences, both for ourselves and others. We act with kindness, generosity, and understanding. When we are compassionate, we are filled with love and empathy for all beings. We are motivated by a desire to alleviate suffering and promote happiness. The path to true happiness is not about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. It is about living in alignment with our deepest values. It is about cultivating wisdom, compassion, and a deep sense of peace and contentment. By understanding the law of karma, transcending the ego, and living with wisdom and compassion, we can create a life of true happiness and fulfillment. We can break free from the cycle of suffering and create a more peaceful and harmonious world for ourselves and future generations.